First tonight, it was hailed as a groundbreaking energy project, but instead became an environmental disaster. Now, dangerous chemicals have been discovered outside the disaster zone, and locals are terrified.
There was real fears that those contaminants would leave the site. Now, in 2022, we're seeing that come to reality.
Basically, they've just done safety procedures and put PPE around it, not isolated it.
I don't think I have a government that's supporting me in this.
For the past decade, Brian Bender's been the face of his community's fight against an unfolding disaster.
If they get into the livestock drinking water, it'll be devastating.
Here on the Western Downs, it's prime agricultural land. The soil is rich, which is perfect for crops and for cattle, but it's what's underneath that's threatening to put it all at risk.
Probably 2008, 9, 10, I believe, when the link stink started to develop, and ever since then, link has been playing on our families' lives.
In 2007, Link Energy started what was supposed to be a groundbreaking new underground coal gasification project at Hopeland, near Chinchilla in Western Queensland. It was the first of its kind in the country, a new process to convert solid coal into gas, but it ended in disaster.
Eventually in 2013, the government did step up and close them down.
The Link Energy site was shut down and fined $4.5 million for causing serious environmental harm after dangerous chemicals escaped into the water, soil and air. Raymond Cowie was an engineer at Link Energy who blew the whistle on the unfolding disaster.
There was byproducts from this UCG process, and they were not being contained, they were actually being transported away.
And now the worst case scenario could be about to unfold, with deadly chemicals used in the process, benzene and cyanide, detected for the first time off-site.
So out there it's non-contained, so there's a contamination point, but where it can migrate to or transport to is still yet to be determined.
For nearby farmers like Brian, it's their worst fears coming to life. So Brian, what would it mean to the people out here if these chemicals got into the water bores around here?
If the chemicals got into the water bores around the link site, it would be devastating for the local producers. So hopefully it does not come to that.
It would be a ripple effect for the whole industry here, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be, particularly the livestock, but it would flow onto land values for the whole district, I believe.
The chemicals were picked up in monitoring bores located 700 metres off the Link site. But locals weren't told. It was only announced when a leaked government report showed the levels detected were 11 and 25 times the allowable drinking limit. How concerning is that to you?
Well, it's very concerning for the first time to have this report to say that these levels are there, and then to be not told about these reports is more concerning.
Last month, the state's Environment Minister came out saying the levels were low to negligible, but admits locals should have been told.
I absolutely acknowledge that there may be landholders that wanted to know this information.
So it's very well known amongst the government where the risks lay.
The idea that these chemicals, cyanide and benzene, are leaving the site and potentially contaminating people's stock water and the water that they use.
Ellie Smith is from the Lock the Gate Alliance against coal and gas across Australia. The state government has had control of the site for 9 years, with some suggesting they've done little to contain the disaster.
What they found at this site was levels of cyanide 11 times the standard drinking water level. So it's toxic, it's deadly.
But the biggest concern, what's to come? Another mining giant, Arrow Energy, now wants to set up next door to the Link Energy site with up to 55 bores for coal seam gas.
So the idea of having coal seam gas right next to an underground coal gasification disaster site is pretty crazy.
So let's just buy time and just sit on the edges until we do get a clean bill of health that there is no chemicals, not low levels, no chemicals leaving the site.
The project is in the final approval stages, with locals hoping it's knocked back.
But I just want to look after it. I want to, hand it on to the next generation and the next one after that in better condition that it was handed on to me.
Can understand why they're nervous. The Queensland Government has until January 30 to decide on the Arrow Energy application.